I'm joined by Dinh, who is the Senior Project Officer for HealthBridge Vietnam's program in livable cities. And we've been working together on the early stages of a project in Da Nang, but you've been working for much longer in a number of other cities in Vietnam. Can you tell us a little bit about your work, especially in Hoi An?
Actually, we work in Hoi An for until now is 7 years ago. So we support the city of Hoi An to develop the public space in the city. At the beginning, we start with some research to collect information to identify the importance of public space in the city and the need of the people to visit the public space in the city. And then with that information, we bring to the government of the city in Hoi An and show them that the importance of public space in the city with the local people over there. So, and then after some time we working with the government, and we understand that they also very commit on the development of public space in the city, not only for the people over there, and also for the development of economic of the city as well. So, and then we convince them, and they agree with us that we should organize this kind of city team with many different departments of the city, and then we work together to build the plan for development of public space in the city. And for in 2015, that master plan of park development is adopted, and for implementation in 5 years until 2020. And with that, we expected that until 2020, each person of Hoi An have enough room for public space in the city, and particularly is the public space in the neighborhood, so very close to their home, and all the people include young children, women, and also other old people can visit to the park very easily.
So it took a while to persuade the local government, as I understand it, right, to demonstrate the benefits of public space. So what was the process that you went through to get to that point?
Actually, as I said before, that at the beginning we start with some research and inventory of existing park in the city, and what we show them is exactly how far public space in the city to the house of the people. So with that data, we saw that not much of the people in the city can reach to the public space easy. So this is that important to show the city that the city should have a plan to develop more public space with proximity to the house of the people. So encourage more people walking and cycling to the park.
So we certainly saw a lot of enthusiasm when we were there, my colleague Kyle Farrell and I, and we went with you to Da Nang last year, of course, and they seemed very enthusiastic. I think they had seen what had happened, what you had done in Hoi An, and they were very enthusiastic. So as we're thinking about this as a model, a kind of snowball that's getting more and more influential, what do you see as the role of research? What can we bring as people who can maybe look at the broader research evidence and bring that to you?
Yeah, for sure that the evidence from the research is very important, because without that we cannot convince any people to do anything. So I think that the research is a good strategy at the beginning to find out the importance of public space, because as you know that in developing country and city, that the most focus now, it maybe not public space. So they have many other focus like for the city development, like economic, for example. So how we show the information, the evidence that public space not only for the public health but also for the other benefit of the city, like climate change, environmental, and equity, and also economic development.
Yeah, that seems very important, and we're certainly eager to continue collaborating with you on that. The other aspect of this is that it seems to me the research that we can do about your work and bring that to other people to share the lessons that you have achieved, how you've done it, and it might not be exactly transferable, but the idea that we're going to share with one another in different cities what's working, what's not working, how we're doing it. That seems very important. Can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on that?
Our work in the city of Hoi An is maybe different with other cities. So for sure that, for example, the size of city in Hoi An is very small, and the government there is very active. But in the other bigger cities, like in Da Nang, Hue, or other city in Vietnam, or even other city all over the world, maybe different size, different situation of the government, and also the situation of public space in the city, different control, different many things different. So we think that sharing the information between city and modern could be good for the city, other city, to learn something similar to their city, and actually it could be a good way to develop the public space in their city with the right way.
That does seem to be very important. The fact that different places are very different, and of course Vietnam is different from India, is different from any other part of the world, and yet we have to create shareable tools somehow to do that. The other fascinating thing about your work is the way that you have engaged with the national government, and we've had a remarkable opportunity there to contribute to and comment on the national urban framework. That seems to be a wonderful opportunity. Can you tell us your thoughts about how that model is working, how we can actually use projects like Hoi An and Da Nang to influence the national government?
I think that the plan is a very new thing in the plan for public space in Vietnam is very new thing. So we want to show the national government several examples with different city from the beginning when they plan and then implement that plan. Very important to show that the local government can do something to improve the public space in the city, so that the national government can understand the procedure of how the local government can do it, and then with several examples, so the national level can do something like the guideline for every city. Yes, of course, each city have their different situation, but in terms of national government, the guideline of the government very important for encourage the local government to do with their own situation.
You're, of course, not just talking to the national government, you're demonstrating projects that have been completed and people can see their benefits. It seems like a really exciting model. The other question I had for you is, we're now at the World Urban Forum. We're a little over a year after the implementation of the new urban agenda. What do you see as the big challenges ahead? What are you hearing, talking to people here at the conference, the big concerns?
Yes, I think that from SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, and then from Habitat Bar with the new urban agenda, and then here we are here with World Urban Forum 9. This step could be I can see that a lot of national government come here to discuss together, sharing information, networking, and this is the right way how to turn what we have in New Urban Agenda into the real world. Because without action of the local government, is nothing will become real. So yes, I think that is very useful for every government with this forum, and I can hear that in this forum a lot of people talk about public space as well as other issues of the urban, like transportation, for example. But it seems that something related together. We think that public space, other things like market, traditional market, in the city also related to transportation. So the site, the location where the people moving in the city, all a bit related to transportation. And I think in this forum, almost of the issue people discuss and talking together and sharing information how to build a city for all, and the city where every people can reach any place they need in the city by active transportation is very, very important, I think.
Well, it seems you're absolutely right that the challenge of thinking of public space not just as one thing, but as joined up with transportation and with other kinds of benefits, the city system, as it were, is really important. And in the same way, this network idea of how we collaborate together internationally seems to be incredibly important. So on that note, Hai Dinh Dang, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.